Try.
All right, you guys, good morning. So this morning we're gonna do opposites. So we're gonna start off here. I have an opposite and you gotta tell me what the other opposite is so they'll connect. So does anybody know that it's, well, mad and angry, that's the same thing? Never mind, we're gonna do that one. Okay, so what's the opposite of little? Does anybody know what's the opposite of little? There it is. Look at him. Well, he's on it this morning. So the opposite of little is big, right? Everybody knows that. Okay.
Look at Rochelle.
What's the opposite of fast? So if you're not fast, you're what?
Slow.
Slow. Good job. Boy, you guys must have been practicing. You're asleep. Oh my goodness. So what's the opposite of the same? So if I have two of the same things, what's the opposite of that? Does anybody know? You are
different.
on fire this morning, Garcia. Man. Let's see. All right. What's the opposite of skinny? If you're not skinny, you are healthy. Healthy. He meant healthy, you guys. What's the opposite of sick?
Well,
Well, there we go. Good job. Well, so the opposite of sick is well. So if you're not sick, then you're doing good. You're kicking. All right. What's the? Oh, that's happy. Let's see. What's the opposite of wrong?
right.
Everybody knows that one, huh? That's a good one. So if it's not, if you're not wrong, you are right. Correct. So here goes incorrect. So what's the opposite of incorrect?
Correct.
Correct. Correct on that. What's the opposite of sad?
Happy.
Happy. Because if you're not sad, then you're happy, right? All right. What's the opposite of start? So if I start something like start the car, what's the opposite?
Finish.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Stop. Start. Stop. Start the bus. Stop the bus. There you go. Good one. Let's see. What's the opposite of glad? Bad, mad. Those are good ones. Oh, come on now. Come on, Garcia. He went through the whole list for you guys.
I even know.
What's the opposite of speak? So if somebody is speaking today, but tomorrow they're not, what does that mean? Not speaking. That works. Talking one day, not talking the next. Okay, what about if you are smiling? So one day you're smiling and one day you're not smiling, frown upside down.
Sad.
Yeah, good job.
Hi, does right.
Oh my goodness. What's the opposite of yell? So if you're not yelling, you are
Quiet.
quiet, speaking
Whispering.
softly.
Hi, Kimmy.
Hey, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Kimmy.
What's the opposite of end?
Out.
Begin.
Nope, begin. Good job, begin. So beginning and an end, right? That's in and out. In and out burger. I knew you was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the opposite of a friend? Friend, not a friend. Not a friend of me.
He's Ray.
Oh, he's going. That is it. I'm tired today. What's the opposite of loud?
Quiet.
Quiet. Good job. All of those work. We'll take all of them. What's the opposite of a rock? So if something is like hard like a rock, then what's the opposite?
Soft.
Soft like cotton. There you go.
Soft like sugar.
Soft like sugar. We'll take sugar. Sugar works. Let's see. What is the opposite of buddy? So if somebody's your buddy,
Cow.
that's the same thing. Buddy, pal. What's the opposite? We're doing opposites. Not your buddy, not your friend, right? There we go.
All you
All right. What's the opposite of chilly?
Cold.
Warm.
No, it is chilly.
Hot.
So if you say it's chilly outside, what's the opposite?
Hot.
Warm.
Warm, hot. Good job.
This is that.
Well, here you go. So what's the opposite of cool?
Cool.
If it's
Hot.
too cold one day,
Warm.
then the next day it's
Hot.
warm, hot. Yep.
Hot.
Good job, you guys.
What's the difference?
The weather.
Oh,
One day you gotta wear a sweater, one day you don't. All right. What's the opposite of large?
I was a large.
Small.
Opposites.
Little. Small.
Large and little. Yep. Big or small. Oh, there you go. Here's small. So opposite of small is what?
Big.
There you go. Good job.
It's a seasoning.
What's the opposite of cry? One day you're crying, one day you're
Happy.
You have to get baby.
you're not crying. You are happy because you're not crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, the opposite. So if you're crying one day, you're happy the next day. Okay, what's the opposite of noisy?
Quiet.
Quiet. Quiet.
What?
Banana dance. I wanna eat banana.
What's the opposite of closed? So if the door is closed, then what's the opposite of that?
Open.
Good job, you guys. If it's not open, then it's closed, right?
Fall asleep.
Know what that one means? Let's see.
Fall asleep.
Here's the same thing. If something is, what's the opposite of something that is shut? So
Open.
there you go. Are you looking at my cards behind my back?
Yes.
Because you're good.
Yes.
I bet. Let's see.
Yes, I heard.
What is the opposite of scream?
Shouting.
Talking low.
Talking no to her. I don't want to talk over her. It's all right.
That's okay. What is the opposite of beautiful?
Fantastic.
Ooh, that's the same thing, but what's the opposite of fantastic? Non-fantastic.
Non-fantastic.
We'll take non-fantastic. Let's see.
It is fine.
What's the opposite of talk? So you're talking to somebody, and then what's the opposite?
Talk loud.
No talking.
Not talking, being
Not talking.
quiet, not saying nothing. What's the opposite of finish?
You're done.
No, that's what it means. What's the opposite? Beginning.
Sharp. Start doing shit.
Start pulling shit. What's the opposite of big? What's the opposite of big,
Small.
Patrick?
Yes.
Little, small.
Little.
Good job, you guys. If it's not big, it is small. What's the opposite of ill?
Sick.
If you're ill, which means you're sick. If you're not,
Well,
there you go. You're well.
well.
Good
or
job.
lovely.
That's right.
Or you
What's
use
the
those
opposite of weep? Weep,
Brittle,
weak,
weep. Strong.
strong, willing,
What's the opposite of stay?
stay home.
No, not stay home. What's the opposite? If you either
Leave.
stay or you what?
Leave.
Or you leave.
Go.
Good job. What's the opposite of angry?
Frustrated.
No,
Happy.
that's the same thing. Opposite. If you're angry one day, tomorrow you're, there we
Happy.
go. Happy. You're welcome. What is the opposite of thin? Thick. There we go. If it's not thick, it's thin, right? So if you draw the line and it's really thin, and then you go over the line a couple times, it gets thicker, right?
Yes.
All right, good job.
good, good job.
What's the opposite of
Um,
sad? Glad. Happy, glad. You're just not mad, right?
This is that.
That's right. This or that. What's the opposite of leave? If you don't want to leave, you want to
Stay.
stay. Good
Eh.
job, you guys. Stay. You don't want to leave, you want to stay. What's the opposite of tardy? So if you guys know what tardy is, right? If you show up somewhere, tardy means you're late. So what's the opposite of that? Being early and being on time. Andrew, this is your class, because you're good. He's not even looking at my cards, you guys. My cards are up on the table. What's the opposite of unhappy?
Mad.
No, unhappy.
Sad.
All you do is remove the un, you're happy,
Happy.
right?
you're happy,
Good job. I hear you back there, Patrick. Good job.
you're happy, Kimberly. I'm
Right?
happy.
If you're not happy, then you are unhappy or you are happy. What's the opposite of late? So you're either late
On
or
time.
you are
Early.
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 On time, right?
On
What's the opposite of bad?
time, Kimberly, be on time.
Bad
Good.
and then
Yeah.
good. So you're either good or you're bad, right? So something either tastes good or it tastes bad, right?
That,
That's,
right, wine.
Because you're what? That's it.
Grace. Grace. Look, listen, Joe.
What's the opposite of quick? So if you're quick, that means, oh, you just ran over there real quick.
Bad.
That means fast. So what's the opposite of that?
Quick. Bad.
Slow. Good.
Slow.
Slow. Good job. I hear you guys back there. Slow. So if you're not quick, you're slow. Like a snail. What's the opposite of begin?
I try to be like you.
Turn it over there.
And
End. Good job, you guys. End. So you either begin or you end, right?
yes.
What's the opposite of stop?
Go.
Go. Go.
Red light, red light.
That's what I was just gonna say. So if it's a red light, it means stop. If it's a green light, it means what's it mean? Go ahead. There you go, Andrew. Just like the bus lights. That's right.
I try to be like strong.
What
and
is
do about-
the opposite of alike?
Dislike.
Dislike. There you go.
Mm,
Turn around, what? I'm doing.
I'm not even looking at the cards. What's the difference of lovely? So if you say, oh, that dress you have on is lovely, the Difference, that's the same.
Oh,
Who do we done?
smiling at me.
Then you don't like it, right? Then you think, oh, that's not really that nice.
Okay,
Unlovely.
unlovely.
There we go.
Hi, Vanessa. Hi,
Huh?
Kim.
He's brown.
Yep, that's right. Let's see what this one is over here. What's the opposite of happy?
Fantastic.
Opposite. So if you're not happy today, you are
Sad.
mad, sad, right, you guys?
And not good, to be honest.
That's fine, you can. What's the opposite of grin? So if you have a grin on your face, but then you
I don't agree some more. I thought
and
this
you
was gonna
don't
be-
have one, right?
You're alive, you're fine.
You're not happy.
Yeah, I guess you're not happy. That's right. Information remains. What's the opposite of fat?
Thin. Say thin.
Skinny.
Kenny.
Good job. Oh, sorry. It's probably just the way I hold them up because they're showing backwards. Oh,
Hi, Kimberly.
the projector. All right, what's the opposite of cold?
Hot.
What's the opposite of up?
Damn.
Down.
Say hi, Daniel.
What's the opposite of in?
Out.
What's the opposite of fast?
So,
Go.
that's
What's the
right.
opposite of big?
Little.
What's the opposite of tall?
Short.
Oh, good job. What's the opposite of open?
Close.
Close.
All right, does anybody got one for me that you guys know that you guys can tell us?
One.
What's
Does
the
anybody know
opposite of left?
Ooh, there we go.
So,
What's the opposite from?
Burn me down.
What's
Clean.
opposite of left?
Burn me down.
There we go. It's not clean, it's dirty.
so,
Good job. What's the
Dirty.
opposite of
30.
nice?
One.
Somebody's not nice to you, they are.
Mean.
9.
There we go. What's the opposite of? Oh my goodness, we went through all these opposites already.
Oh,
What's the opposite of sick?
Healthy.
Healthy. What's the opposite of full? If I'm full, what's the opposite of that?
Not hungry.
No,
Empty.
you are hungry, right? You're hungry because you're not full yet.
no.
The
Full.
opposite of left or right. Good job, Turlock. What's the opposite of dry? So if some. Whoa! You are on fire over here, Garcia. What's the what's the opposite of sad?
Man.
Nope, that's a rhyme.
Happy.
Happy. There we go. What's the opposite of wrong? Right. Oh, what's another one? What's the opposite of left?
Right.
There we
Right.
go. What's the opposite of go? That's right. What's the opposite of west?
East.
Man, somebody get this guy. He's on fire over here, you guys. What's the opposite of bottom?
Up.
What's the opposite of winter is summer, fall, spring. Good job, you guys. What's the opposite of more?
40.
Nope. If you have more or you have
Less.
yes. What's the opposite of under? If you're not going under something, you're going
Oh,
over something. Good job. What's the opposite of messy?
Clean.
Clean. So if you're One day your room is messy, the next day your room is clean.
Clean.
Good job. What's the opposite of off? If you turn something off,
On.
on. Gosh, you guys are so good. What's the opposite of true? Man.
False.
What's the opposite of asleep?
Awake.
Man, what's the opposite of absent? Present. You're here. You're present. You're either here or you're not here, right? What's the opposite of a student?
Coworker.
Teacher. Good job. I hear you back there, Patrick. Good job, you guys. Good job, David. What's the opposite of beautiful? What's the opposite of hot?
Cold.
What's the opposite of rough? So if something is rough, then
Soft.
it's soft or smooth, right? What's the opposite of something that is false? So if somebody says, oh, that's
True.
false.
False negative.
True. False and negative, same thing. What's the opposite of before?
After.
Yes, you guys are good. What's the opposite of rude?
Nice.
Nice. What's the opposite of cry? So if somebody's crying, what's the opposite?
Happy.
Happy. What's the opposite of sick?
Not healthy.
No, you are
Healthy.
healthy if you're not sick. Opposite.
Oh.
Healthy and sick. You're either one or the other.
Healthy and sick.
There you go.
You are.
What's the opposite of more?
Less.
Less. Good job. What's the opposite of stink? So something stinks. Then it smells good.
Yeah.
What's the opposite of
Yeah.
truth? So if somebody's telling the truth, what's the opposite of that?
False.
False.
False negative.
Not false.
That's the truth. That is good. What's the opposite of bottom?
Top.
Red,
Red. Green.
up,
Down.
Go.
stop,
Go.
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 All right, you guys. Well, you guys did a good job and everybody paid attention. Anybody got one that I didn't go over that you guys know?
You're working there next week.
Anybody know an opposite?
Watch when I go next week.
Hello?
Job, guys. Good job, Kim. Thank you.
And my co-host, Andrew Garcia
Yeah, Mr.
here.
Garcia's on
Big round of
fire.
applause. Everybody out there, you guys did good. Turlock, you guys did good. Everybody online, you did awesome. You guys are on it.
All right, guys. Good job. I'm going to stop the recording.